Chapter 8.
Napoleon was only seen in public about once a month. In the farmhouse, he lived in a separate apartment from the others. He took his meals alone, with 2 dogs to wait upon him. Napoleon was now always referred to as our dear leader, Comrade Napoleon. Squealer would talk, with tears rolling down his cheeks, of the deep love Napoleon felt for all animals everywhere. Credit was given to Napoleon for every successful achievement and every stroke of good fortune. In the autumn, the windmill was finally finished. It was named Napoleon Mill. The next day, Squealer announced astonishing news. "We are now doing business with Mr. Frederick." Mr. Frederick? But what about his cruelty to his animals? Another of Snowball's stories. That traitor has been working for Pilkington. 3 days later, Whimper, his face deadly pale, came racing up the path on his bicycle. He flung it down in the yard and rushed straight into the farmhouse. The next moment, a choking roar of rage sounded from Napoleon's apartments. News quickly spread around the farm. Frederick had lied to them. He was really planning an invasion. Napoleon called the animals together immediately. "I pronounce the death sentence upon Frederick," he said. "We will boil him alive." The animals were at breakfast when the invasion began. The lookouts flew into the farmyard with the news. "Frederick and his men are here. They are already through the 5-barred gate." There were 15 men with half a dozen guns between them. The invaders opened fire, driving the animals back into the farm buildings. Soon, the whole of the big pasture, including the windmill, was in the hands of the enemy. Napoleon paced up and down without a word, his tail rigid and twitching. The other animals watched helplessly as Frederick and his men placed explosives at the base of the windmill. Suddenly there was a deafening roar. The pigeons swirled into the air. All the animals, except Napoleon, flung themselves onto their bellies. When their explosion subsided, a huge cloud of black smoke was hanging where the windmill had been. When the smoke cleared, they saw that there no longer was a windmill. At this terrible sight, the animals' courage returned to them. Without waiting for further orders, they charged forth in a body and made straight for the enemy. It was a savage, bitter battle. The men fired again and again, and, when the animals got to close quarters, lashed out with their sticks and their heavy boots. A cow, 3 sheep, and 2 geese were killed, and nearly everyone was wounded. Even Napoleon, who was directing operations from the rear, had the tip of his tail chipped by a pellet. Eventually they beat the invaders back. Frederick's men panicked and ran for their lives. The animals chased them right down to the bottom of the field and out through the thorn hedge. The animals who fell in the great battle of the windmill were given a solemn funeral. Napoleon walked at the head of the procession. A few days later, the pigs found a crate of whiskey in the cellars of the farmhouse. That night, the sound of loud singing came from the farmhouse. The song the pigs were singing was Beasts of England. Muriel went back to the barn to check the 7 commandments. She saw that there was yet another of them, which the animals had remembered wrong. The 5th commandment was not, "No animal shall drink alcohol." Actually, the commandment read, "No animal shall drink alcohol to excess."